Karen turns off the lights at Jamie's wedding, thinking she's won. She doesn't know Jamie's dad, Sheriff Dan, is there. She calls for cops, but Dan steps up. He flips her rules against her. Fireworks boom and love beats her mean tricks in the end. Before watching full video, comment below from where you're watching and also like and subscribe. Jamie, a 28-year-old with a big heart and a bit of a messy side, is celebrating their wedding night with their partner Alex. The party is at the community clubhouse, a cozy spot with wooden walls and a wide porch. Inside, the vibe is happy and alive. Laughter fills the air, music pumps loud, and fairy lights twinkle above a crowded dance floor. Family and friends cheer as Jamie and Alex sway together, smiling wide. Jamie's dad, Sheriff Dan, stands near the punch table. He's a tough guy with a soft spot for his kid. Tonight he's in his best suit, the only one he owns, looking proud but a little awkward. His gray hair sticks out under his hat, and his badge is tucked in his pocket. He watches Jamie with a small grin, sipping his drink. Earlier, Jamie told Alex about a problem. The HOA president, Karen, had complained about the noise. She's a strict lady who loves rules and hates fun. She'd said, "Keep it quiet or else," but finally let the wedding happen. Jamie laughed it off then, saying, "She's just grumpy." Now, as the party grows louder, that warning feels like a shadow creeping in. The music thumps, the guests shout, and the night feels perfect, almost too perfect. Something's coming and Jamie doesn't know it yet. But Sheriff Dan's sharp eyes catch everything, ready for whatever happens next. Karen, a middle-aged woman with a sour face, stands outside the clubhouse. She clutches a clipboard tight, her eyes narrow and grumpy. She's always nosy, always watching. Tonight, she mutters about decibel violations and unauthorized extension cords, pacing back and forth. Her short hair bounces as she shakes her head, annoyed. Karen runs the HOA, the neighborhood group, and loves rules more than anything. She wants the streets quiet, the lawns perfect, and no one stepping out of line. To her, this wedding is a big mess. Inside, the party is at its best. Jamie and Alex share their first dance, spinning under the fairy lights. Guests clap and cheer. The cake sits tall, ready to be cut. Everyone's smiling, lost in the fun. Then Karen bursts in. Her boots stomp loud on the wood floor. "This noise is disrupting the peace," she shouts, pointing her clipboard like a weapon. No one listens at first, they're too happy. But Karen doesn't wait. She marches to the back, finds the breaker box and flips the switch. Everything goes dark. The music dies. The lights blink out. People gasp and stumble. The cake wobbles as someone bumps the table. Karen stands there, arms crossed, smug. She thinks she's won, keeping her perfect neighborhood safe from trouble. She doesn't care, it's a wedding. To her, rules beat joy every time. The party's ruined, or so she thinks. The clubhouse turns into chaos the second the lights go out. Guests scream, startled by the sudden dark. The DJ's equipment buzzes, then stops. Silence swallows the music. People bump into each other and the tall wedding cake wobbles. Someone yells, "Watch out!" But it's too late. The cake crashes to the floor, splattering icing everywhere. Jamie stares at the mess, heart pounding. They're furious, months of planning ruined. But they glance at Alex, who looks worried, and take a deep breath. Jamie forces a smile, trying to stay calm for their partner. Karen stands by the breaker box, smirking like she's proud. She crosses her arms and says loud, "Rules are rules. You can't break them just for a party." Her voice is sharp, cutting through the murmurs. She pulls out her phone, waving it. "I'll call the cops if you don't stop this nonsense." She thinks she's in charge, unstoppable. The guests groan and mutter, some shouting back, "It's a wedding, lady." But Karen doesn't know something big. Sheriff Dan, Jamie's dad, is just 10 feet away. He leans against the punch table, sipping his drink, watching her. His bushy eyebrow lifts and his eyes narrow. He's quiet, but his look says he's not happy. Karen keeps talking, clueless that the county sheriff, tough, gruff, and right there, is already sizing her up. The room's a mess, but Dan's steady, ready to move. Sheriff Dan doesn't like drama, but he's not afraid of it either. He's a big man, quiet but strong, and when the lights went out, he stayed calm. Now he steps forward, moving slow but sure. Someone's phone flashlight catches his badge, making it shine in the dark clubhouse. He stops in front of Karen, his deep voice steady. "Ma'am, I am the law around here. Mind explaining why you're ruining my kid's wedding?" His words hang heavy and the room gets quiet. Everyone knows Dan, he's the county sheriff, tough but fair. Karen doesn't flinch. She doesn't even look at his badge. She's too busy being mad. "This party's breaking every rule," she snaps, waving her clipboard. Noise levels, extension cords, illegal. You'll all get fines. She keeps going louder and faster, ranting about HOA bylaws like they're the only thing that matters. Her face turns red and spit flies as she yells. She doesn't see Dan's jaw tighten or hear the crowd murmur. She's so caught up, she doesn't realize she's talking herself into trouble, big trouble. The guests pull out their phones. Lights flicker on as they start recording. Get this, someone whispers. Karen's meltdown, her wild eyes, her shrill voice, spreads fast. People giggle, others gasp, and a few cheer Dan on quietly. The videos are already hitting the internet, going viral. HOA lady versus sheriff pops up on screens everywhere. Karen keeps digging her hole, oblivious. Dan just stands there, arms crossed, letting her talk. He's patient, but his look says she's crossed a line, and he's ready to make her regret it. Sheriff Dan doesn't grab Karen or slap handcuffs on her. Not yet. He's too smart for that. Instead, he turns to fix the mess she made. He walks to the breaker box, his boots thumping on the floor. I've handled this before, he says, voice gruff but calm. He flips a few switches and the lights flicker back on. The crowd cheers as the music hums alive again. Dan grins a little. Last time was a raccoon, he adds. Dumb thing chewed the wires, sparked a fuse. Took me an hour to sort it out, and a broom to shoo it off. People laugh, picturing Big Dan chasing a raccoon with a broom. His story lightens the mood and Jamie smiles, relieved. Karen's not laughing though. She stands there, clipboard limp in her hand, face red with embarrassment. The room's bright again and all eyes are on her, judging, giggling. She wanted to be the boss, but now she looks small. She glares at Dan, then at Jamie, her scowl deeper than ever. This isn't over, she mutters, turning to leave. As she stomps out, she hisses under her breath, I'll sue you all. Legal action. HOA supremacy. She's humiliated but still stubborn, promising revenge like some cartoon villain. The door slams behind her and a few guests boo playfully. Dan shakes his head, sipping his punch. She'll cool off, or she won't, he says to Jamie. The party picks up, louder than before, like Karen never happened. But outside, Karen's already plotting, her pride stung. Dan fixed the power, but she's not done fighting, not yet. The lights are back and the wedding roars to life again, better than before. Guests grab their phones, turning on flashlights, waving them like glow sticks. The DJ cranks the music, and the dance floor turns into a wild, glowing party. People laugh and spin, their shadows bouncing on the walls. Jamie and Alex jump in, holding hands, grinning wide. The mess with Karen feels far away now. Even the smashed cake gets a cheer. Someone scoops it off the floor, yelling, still tastes good. The room's alive, buzzing with energy, stronger than ever. But outside, trouble's brewing. Jamie steps near the porch for some air and hears voices, low and sneaky. It's Karen, huddled with her HOA friends, a couple of grumpy old neighbors with notepads. Illegal parking, Karen whispers, pointing at the cars lined up along the street. I'll call the tow company. One crony nods. And the water lines, I can shut them off. No toilets, no party. They snicker, plotting to ruin everything again. Karen's voice is sharp, still stinging from her defeat. They won't laugh when I'm done, she says. Jamie freezes, heart sinking. The glow of the party feels fragile now. Back inside, the dancing goes on, loud and bright. Jamie slips through the crowd, looking for Sheriff Dan. They spot him by the punch bowl, chatting with Aunt Sue. Dad, Jamie whispers, tugging his arm. She's not done yet. Dan's eyebrow lifts and he sets his cup down slow. The party's alive, but Karen's scheming is a dark cloud creeping closer. Jamie knows they need Dan's help. Again. Karen storms back, meaner than ever. She's not alone this time. A tow truck rumbles up, its lights flashing red. She points at the guest cars parked along the street. Tow them all, she barks at the driver. Illegal parking, every one. She's grinning now, thinking she's winning. Then she pulls out her phone and calls the deputy station with a fake story. Loud party out of control, she whines. Send someone quick. She doesn't know Dan's deputies are his buddies. At the station, they're already chuckling, passing around a message. Karen versus the sheriff again. They don't rush, they know who's boss. Inside, the party's still rocking, but Karen's not done. She opens X on her phone, starts a live video and lets loose. This wedding's a disgrace, she snaps, her face red on the screen. Jamie's family is riffraff, loud, rude, unfit for this neighborhood. She spits the words, waving her clipboard like proof. The post blows up fast. People watching laugh or gasp, but it's crossing a line. Calling Sheriff Dan's family trash? That's bold and dumb. Jamie sees it on their phone, jaw-dropping. Guests start buzzing, passing phones around. She said what? One cousin yells. The mood shifts, fun turns to anger. Outside, the tow truck hooks a car and Karen smirks, thinking she's in charge. But she doesn't see Dan's deputies pulling up slow, radios crackling with jokes about her. She's clueless that her fake complaint's a bust and her ex rants making enemies. Karen's escalated too far now, insulting Dan's kid, his blood. The tow truck's engine growls, but her real trouble's just starting. Sheriff Dan's had enough. He's been patient, but Karen's gone too far. He steps outside where she's bossing the tow truck driver, his face calm but hard. Karen, he says, voice low, let's talk. She smirks, thinking she's untouchable. Dan pulls out his phone, scrolling through county records. He's got friends at the courthouse. Says here your house has unpermitted stuff. New deck, extra room, no approvals. Karen's eyes widen. She loves HOA rules, but her own place breaks them. That's a lie, she sputters, but Dan holds up the screen, dates, photos, proof. She's caught. He doesn't stop there. You're getting a citation, he says, writing it up right then. Fines for those violations. The crowd spills out, watching, and they erupt in cheers. Get her, Dan, someone yells. Karen's face turns purple, her clipboard shaking. She's humiliated, trapped by her own game. The tow truck driver pauses, unsure, as guests clap and whistle. Dan's not just Jamie's dad, he's the law and he's winning. Then a deputy rolls up, lights flashing. Karen perks up, thinking help's here. But the deputy grins at Dan. Got a noise complaint, he says, against her. Neighbors say she's been yelling all night. The crowd roars louder, laughing now. Karen's jaw drops, her own streets turned on her. This is outrageous, she shrieks, but no one cares. Dan hands her the citation, calm as ever. Rules are rules, he says, echoing her words. The tow truck pulls away empty and Karen stomps off, defeated. Dan tips his hat to the deputy, checkmate delivered, the night is again. Karen slinks off into the dark, her head low. She's beaten, no fight left. The tow truck's gone, her plans wrecked. Inside, the wedding explodes back to life. Sheriff Dan nods to a deputy and suddenly, boom, fireworks blast into the sky. Reds, blues, and golds sparkle over the clubhouse. Dan approved them days ago, a surprise for Jamie and Alex. The crowd oohs and ahs, phones up, snapping pics. Karen's mess is forgotten as the night ends big. Jamie and Alex stand under the glowing sky, holding tight. They kiss, long and happy, the kind that says they won. Guests cheer, clapping hard, their glow-in-the-dark party now a wild victory bash. Dan grabs a mic, his gruff voice cutting through. To love, family, and knowing your breaker box, he says, raising his punch cup. People laugh, his raccoon story's a hit now. Jamie hugs him, whispering, thanks, Dad. He just grunts, but his eyes shine proud. Later the epilogue unfolds. Karen's ex rant, calling Jamie's family riffraff, blows up online, but not how she wanted. People flood it with replies, shut up, Karen, and Sheriff Dan rules. It's ratioed hard, tons of comments bury her post into oblivion. She's a joke now, her power gone. The next week the HOA meets. Neighbors, fed up with her yelling and rules, vote her out. A new president steps up, Mike, a chill guy who loves barbecues and parties. He waves at Jamie across the street, grinning. The neighborhood feels lighter, freer. The wedding's over, but the win lasts. Dan sips coffee on his porch, smirking. Told her rules are rules, he mutters.